In this lesson, we'll learn how to add video content to our interactive InDesign files. Alright, so in the previous lesson, we learned how to bring audio into our file here, and we also hooked up this audio widget and used it to control the audio itself. So at this point, I want to jump over to page 4 here, and this is the first page with a featured work article on it, and what I'd like to do is place a video here instead of this image. So that you can see here the buttons below can be pressed to actually play and stop the video. Now, let me just go ahead and jump out of preview mode and zoom in on this here. And let's go ahead and just click on this image, and we're going to select the content grabber just so we're clicking on the image inside the frame, and we'll go ahead and delete that. So we've still got the frame here. Alright, great. Let's go ahead and place in our video. Now, when I bring up the place dialog, you're going to look for this dt_movie.f4v file. So we'll go ahead and open that here. Now, this brings up a good point. Which type of videos can we actually utilize in our interactive InDesign files? Well, the preferred file formats by InDesign are going to be your FLV, your F4V, and your other H.264 encoded files like MP4s. Now, according to Adobe, InDesign does support legacy formats like .mov, AVI, and MPEG, but only for output to PDF, not for Flash. So that's what you would be looking for. Now, if you have a video that you're needing to convert, you might check out the Adobe Media Encoder, which actually comes included with Creative Suite. So with that said, let's go ahead and draw in a frame here. I'm going to go ahead and mouse over the very corner up here until I get the little lines next to my cursor. We'll click and drag, and I'm going to use my Smart Guides to help me align this new video frame with the frame underneath it here. So that's lined up right there. Alright, great. So you can see here that after I place this video, just by the look of it, you can tell that it's not a high definition video. It's set with a 4:3 aspect ratio here, and it's not completely filling up the space that I wanted it to. We're going to actually address that here in just a moment, but let's go ahead with our video selected and bounce over to the media panel and check this out. Again, just like with audio, we can preview our video here in the media panel. We have some options to play on page load and loop, but we can only loop when we're outputting to Flash. Now, we have poster options here, and you can see the reason why we have a black poster there is because it's set to from current frame. If I go ahead and click on this little refresh button here, we can actually reset that, and the current frame in the media panel is actually used as the poster for the video. Now, if I wanted to use maybe that image of that 3D Warrior image that we had before we removed it as the poster, I would want to come over here and choose that custom image from the drop down, and we'll browse to it here and select it. You can see here that that image is actually much larger than the video. Let me just zoom in a little bit here, and we'll click on the content grabber. Once we'll grab the video, twice we'll grab the image we're using as the poster, and I'll just scale it down so it fits inside that frame. Now, even after I've scaled that down, if we're wanting to fill up that entire frame here, we're not going to be able to use a poster to do that. It's still leaving the area outside the video uncovered here. So let's go ahead and actually just remove the poster altogether here. We'll just go ahead and under poster, we'll select none. Now, there's a couple of other options down here. The first of which is controller. Now, if we're using an FLV, an F4V, or an H.264 encoded video file, then we can actually use kind of a prefabricated controller skin for the video. And now you can see here, basically we have different options here, and I know it goes off your screen, but just know that these options here basically are different configurations for the controls in this skin. So the one I'm going to go ahead and use is this skin over play seek mute. There it is right there. And we'll actually take a look at that here in just a moment. But we do have the option to show the controller on rollover. I'll leave that unchecked. Now, let's go ahead and talk about navigation points for just a moment. This is something that we can actually create if we have a longer video. Maybe we want to create points that can be navigated to within the video. I'm going to go ahead and play that video again. I'm going to pause it about halfway through here. And let's create a new navigation point. We'll create this one We'll just leave it titled point 1 here. You can see that that navigation point is at 1.32 seconds. So this is a pretty short video, but we've actually added a navigation point at this exact point in the video. Now we can actually reference that navigation point when we create buttons later on. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. I tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead and preview this page. We'll jump over and look in the preview panel and hit the play button. And we'll wait for InDesign to give us that preview here. There we go. You can see here that right now the video is not displaying. Now the reason for this is because we haven't set up a button that actually has the event and the action to play the video on it. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to jump over here and tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead and take our video, and I'm going to select that frame with the video, and I'm going to send it all the way to the back with a Control-Shift open bracket. And that way we can select this empty frame that image was in previously. I'm going to actually place our warrior image back into that frame here. Should remember its positioning there, which it does. And I tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead and come down here and grab our play button. Now again, I've already created these buttons. All we need to do is add events to them. So on release here, the first event I'm going to add is the video event. And you can see that just like with audio files, we get the video files that are loaded into our document here. I've only got one, so we've got that one selected, and I want it to play that video. Now if we drop this options box down, you can see that one of the options here is to play it from a navigation point. If we choose that one here, then we get our point options here. Now I've only got one navigation point, so it's going to be our default. I'm actually going to just switch that back over to play for right now. And let's go ahead and jump over to the stop video button. We're going to create another video action on release, and we're going to tell this one to stop the video. Alright, great. Now, you may be thinking, well, we've got the video hidden behind this image right here. Well, remember when I mentioned earlier that I wanted that actual video space to actually occupy the same space as this image right here? Remember it was short a little bit on the left and the right sides? So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually use this image to hide the video. So we'll actually reveal the video when we click the play button. Let's go ahead and make a button out of this image here. We'll come in here and we'll just call this FW for Featured Work 01 Image. And we're going to leave that just as it is right here. Let's jump back down to our play button, give it a new event, or excuse me, a new action for the on-release event to show or hide a button. And we'll find that button we just made, there it is, and we'll show that. And we need to make the action to hide that, so we'll do that on the stop button. Actually, scratch that. Let's go back to the play button. The play button is actually the button we want to hide the image. So we'll go ahead and hit the hide button here. And for the stop button, we'll add a new action to show that image. Alright, great. Now, let's go ahead and preview this really quickly in our preview panel. I'll hit Control-Shift-Enter. And we've got our preview here. So when I hit the play button, there we go. It shows our video. Now, again, the video is not filling up the area on the right and the left. So let's go ahead and we'll stop the video, and that brings our image back. So everything's working so far. Let's go ahead and copy this button, paste it right on top of itself. I'm going to convert it back into an object, so it's no longer a button. And let's select the image in it and delete it. Alright, great. Now that we've done that, let's come over here and apply a fill color of black to that particular frame. And I'll go ahead and take that frame and send it all the way to the back here. Alright, great. Now let's preview again. And here we go. Let's go ahead and play the video again. Now you can see here that when we play the video, we're getting this nice box that matches up evenly with the image that was over it in the before the play button was hit. So we can actually hit the stop button, and it's a pretty seamless transition between the image and the video here. All right, great. Let me go ahead and just show you an example. If you want to look at the file 09_example.pdf in your project files, you'll see here the example PDF of this exact same setup. So if we hit the play button, there's our controller widget, and you can see here that it has a play, a scrub, and a mute button on it. And we hit the stop button, and it brings our image back here. Now, if we'd had a high-definition video, it's likely that we wouldn't have had to actually kind of jump through these hoops. We could have possibly used a poster and applied this warrior image as the poster. But being that we had a smaller video, we can still make it fit within those boundaries just by jumping through a few extra hoops when we create our buttons here. So, in this lesson, we have learned how to bring video content into our interactive InDesign files. In the next lesson, we're going to continue on. We're going to look at one more aspect of interactive PDFs, which is known as page transitions.